I was traveling in a bus. It was a bitterly cold night, and even at the far end of the bus, the east wind cut like a knife. The bus stopped, and two women and a man got in together and filled the vacant places. The younger woman carried a little Pekingese dog. The conductor came in and took their fares. Then his eye rested on the beady eyed dog. I saw trouble coming up. This was the opportunity for which the conductor had been waiting, and he intended to make the most of it. I had marked him as the type who had a general vague grievance about everything. He seemed to have a particular grievance against passengers who came and sat in his bus while he shivered at the door. "You must take that dog out," he said. "I shall certainly do nothing of the kind." "You can take my name and address," said the woman. She had evidently expected the challenge and knew the reply. "You must take the dog out. That's my order. I won't go on the top of the bus in such weather." "It would kill me," said the woman. "Certainly not," said her lady companion. "You have got a cough as it is." "It's nonsense," said her male companion. The conductor pulled the bell and the bus stopped. "This bus doesn't go on until that dog is brought out." He stepped onto the pavement and waited. It was his moment of triumph. He had the law on his side. Everybody in the bus was on the side of the lady and her dog. They talked in raised voice. "Shameful! Call the police. Let's all report him. Let's make him give us fares back." "Yes, that's it. Let's make him give us our fares back." The little animal sat blinking at the dim lights, unconscious of the trouble he had caused. The conductor came to the door. Some passengers demanded, "Give us our fares back. You have engaged to carry us. You cannot leave us here all night." "No fares back," said the conductor. Two or three passengers got out and disappeared into the night. The conductor turned on the pavement, went to the driver to have a talk with him. Another bus, the last on the road, went by. It seemed indifferent to the shouts of the passengers to stop. A policeman strolled up and looked in at the door. The passengers burst out with indignant protest and appeals. "Well, he's got his rules, you know," he said genially. Then he went away to stand a few yards down the street. There he was joined by two more constables. Still the little dog blinked at the lights, and the conductor walked to and fro like a captain in the hour of victory. A woman passenger's voice rose above the gale, threatening the bus conductor, but he was cold as night and hard as the pavement. She expressed her anger to the three policemen who stood up the street watching the drama. Then she came back, called her companion, and vanished. The bus was emptying. "I'll go to the top," said the young lady with the dog at last. "You will have pneumonia," the man said. When she had disappeared up the stairs, The conductor came back and pulled the bell. The bus went on. He stood triumphant, while his conduct was criticized in his face by the passengers. Then the bus developed engine trouble and the conductor went to the help of the driver. It was a long job. Meanwhile, the lady with the dog stole down the stairs and re entered the bus. When the engine was put right, the conductor came back and pulled the bell. Then his eye fell on the dog, and his hand went to the bell rope again. The driver looked round. The conductor pointed to the dog, and the bus stopped. The whole struggle began all over once again. The conductor walked on the pavement. The little dog blinked at the lights. The lady again declared that she would not go to the top and finally went. The bus was soon empty, and I was the last passenger left behind. I have got my rules, the conductor said to me. He had won his victory but felt that he would like to justify himself to somebody. Rules, I said, are necessary things. Some are hard and fast rules, like the rule of the road, which cannot be broken without danger to life and limb. But some are only rules for your guidance, like that rule about the dogs. You can use your common sense here. They are meant to be observed in the spirit, not in the letter, for the comfort of the passengers. You have kept the rule but broken its spirit. You should mind your rules with a little goodwill and good temper. He took it very well, and when I got off the bus, he said good night, quite amiably.
This video is presented by Seth Hans. Are you like to listen stories? If you want to watch these like stories of school books, you may click to below given covers. If you interested, may like, share and subscribe to Seth Hans. Thank you.